Shivers, Professor Shanga. Cool. God save the Queen, man.
Now, Kamala's former communications director is even saying Biden should resign just so the vice president can be president.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. Just one part of the job that he can fulfill. Being a transitional figure, he could resign the presidency in the next 30 days. Make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Okay, so these questions about, what Kamala knew about Biden's mental state really dogged her throughout the campaign. Brett Baer tried to ask her about it, and she totally sidestepped the question. I'm not sure how she could not know. But now you heard they want Joe Biden to step down so she can step in. Gianna, do you see Joe Biden and Joe Biden going for this?
Absolutely not. Not after they've been put out. And Kamala Harris probably did much what she did much worse than Joe Biden did. So right now he's probably thinking, well, I guess it worked out pretty well for me because he was going to lose to Trump. Now he can say, I could have beat Trump. And he could be right in his own opinion. But I'm going to tell you, though, I think Kamala Harris and a lot of the Democrats who are now saying, like, make her president and all these other things should acknowledge that she ran a very inauthentic campaign. I mean, saying things like, you better thank a union member. You know, when she would say all of that and the pandering. I mean, if I could make this a movie, it would be by Tyler Perry, Medea runs for president. This was insane of a campaign that she ran. It wasn't authentic, and we see what we got now.
Yeah, but Nicole, a lot of people on the left, and especially people who really wanted to see a woman president, say, you know what, doesn't she deserve at least a little bit of a taste of being president? You're a woman, what do you think about that? Does she?
That face really says it all.
You know what? Listen, I understand this, and I actually have family members who are very upset, emotional actually, when she lost the election. Not because they actually wanted her and her potential policies, if we even understood that those were, because I still didn't have a grasp on what they were. But the fact that, in our lifetime we have now seen 2 failed female candidates for president. And it would be wonderful as a woman to see a female president. But at the end of the day, I don't want to just check a box for a female to be president. Kamala Harris ran in 2019. She lost. She lost the primary amongst her Democrats. The Republicans didn't even get a vote for her yet. This is just amongst the Democrats, and they formally rejected her based on her policy, lack of stances, and far-left extremism. So, no, do not make her the first president of the United States. I think that is an insult to women everywhere, women who actually could sit in the White House. I think there are so many women who would be so good sitting in that commander-in-chief role. We just haven't seen them yet. And you know what? Their time's coming up.
We're definitely going to have a female president one day. No question about it. Let me ask you, Brian, because, again, you talk about the stock market. You look at the stock market. It's booming right now in the wake of this election. What if they were to put Kamala Harris in there? What would happen? Wouldn't it cause some instability?
Well, it's a head-scratcher, and I think I don't think it would affect the stock market significantly, but what it would say is that we have a very odd view of the presidency in at least one party in this country. I mean, think about it for a second. This is the president of the United States, and they're saying, we just want to sneak you in for a second. It's like getting a picture with Mickey Mouse or something. The presidency is a big deal. We should treat it like that. And if Biden really should step aside, we should know exactly why. And I don't think that's a spot any of the Democrats want.
All right. I want to move on to this. We talked about this yesterday, and according to a brand new Wall Street Journal exclusive report, Supreme Court Justice Sonya Sotomayor has no plans to step down. Far-left activists have been calling on her to retire, so President Biden can put in a younger jurist on the bench just before Trump takes office. Now, we talked about this yesterday. They were trying to cite her health reason, that she, has type 1 diabetes and that she's 70 years old. Nicole, she says, no, I'm staying. She says, I have important work to do here. I'm only 70 years old.
Don't cite me your 70-year-old with diabetes as a reason that they can't perform executive functions. Like, that's a large swath of the American population. How about the fact that we have people much older than her still in office? Let's think Senator Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, many, many more, Mitch McConnell. And as long as people are able to exhibit executive functioning, then I think it's okay. Now, at the end of the day, we do see these annual physical and, well, we haven't seen cognitive evaluations from President Biden. But we should, as someone at his age, see annual physical and mental evaluations. Now, if that indicated that he was on the decline, then you could see that anyone should then step down, especially when it comes to our justices. Do we want to start having our justices submit to these examinations too? Like, how far are we going to take this?
Right. You know, we talked yesterday, Brian, about how if they tried to do this, to force her to resign, this could really backfire on Democrats, because if they didn't get their person confirmed, then it would be Trump. Do you think they rethought this?
Yeah, they really thought about that. You know, when we watched this, we've watched a few of these things now. Trump might actually get another appointee. I say, you know, if this is coming from Sotomayor, good for her. What she's saying is, don't make your political problems my judicial problem. And that's actually right. The Supreme Court is supposed to be, in some ways, detached from politics and rule on the Constitution. Don't try to solve the problems you had at the ballot box by telling me to get the heck out now. That's the wrong way to do it. My hat's off to her for standing strong on that.
Yeah, and, you know...
Strong women. That's what we're talking about. Women who deserve their seats. Don't kick out the women who deserve their seats for women and then try and slip women who don't necessarily deserve their seats in. I mean, what is wrong with people these
You know,
days?
and she also is, you know, she is a solid liberal jurist for the people in her constituency. I mean, she's very effective on the bench. So, Gianno, the optics of this look bad from the get-go, because, I mean, you could bring up racism, ageism, you know, bias against a woman. All of those things could be at play.
You know what? What is very clear to me is the party that's for women, the Democratic Party, as they often said, are the first ones to try to marginalize women. And we've seen it time and time again with their decision making. This is just another example of it, and it's obviously not going to work.
Right. Not going to happen.
Yep.
All right.
We thought that about President Biden, but look what happened.
Yeah, never say never.
Let's
okay?
never say
We'll
never. We don't know what's going to
Come on.
happen.
All right. Coming up on the Big Weekend Show, a long-awaited campaign promise.
You have the largest deportation operation in American history, starting at noon on Inauguration Day 2025.
Americans are eagerly awaiting plans for Trump's mass deportation to take effect. But what would that look like as defiant Democrats stand in his way? That's next.
So before I start this video, I'd like to thank D.Tiz on TikTok for this video. So President Joe Biden, the Democrats do not take L lightly. Ever since Kamala Harris lost, now they try to make Kamala Harris to win by becoming president anyway. See, they're trying to force Joe Biden to step down and put Kamala Harris as president with the rest of his term. But why? Why would you even do that? It's just like they do the same thing with, you know, Justice Sonya Sotomayor. They try to force her to resign, so Kamala Harris is going to take over her judicial seat. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the Democrats cannot take L lightly. They still think that Kamala Harris should win the presidency or take a higher office, and try to forget, oh, well, Kamala still need to be the president, or Kamala should have been the Supreme Court justices. And y'all just not taking L's. Y'all just not take a loss. You know, y'all just refuse to even accept the loss. So it's like, we know Kamala lost, but y'all still want her to be president. Or since y'all just try to force Justice Sonya Sotomayor to step down and put Kamala in there, and thinking, oh, she can't be president. Let's still go ahead and make her Supreme Court justices. What? So the Democrats got a lot of work to do. For real. I mean, you already lost the presidency. You already lost the Senate. And you can't get the House back. The Republicans still retain that. And then the Republicans still control the U.S. Supreme Court. So Republicans is running all forms of government now. And Democrats, y'all don't like it. Y'all don't like it. And y'all trying to push for Kamala Harris. Since she didn't win the presidency, she go ahead and force Joe Biden to resign to make her president for the rest of Joe Biden's term. And then if that's not good enough, you want to force Justice Sonya Sotomayor to step down so she can become... Democrats, y'all got a lot of work to do. Let me know what you think in the comments.